going to be using the smaller of these items. And somebody's probably going to ask me how this is the small. Let me just give you an idea size-wise. Okay, so this is 6.5 inches tall by 4.5. So this little cross is about 6.5 by 4.5. This little bunny, I'm going to go from the tip of the ear, is about 7. This looks like the widest part by about 4.5. Okay, really great, nice little sizes. I think they're really cute. And the very first thing I'm going to do to these guys is I'm going to give them some paint. I'm going to give them some paint. I'm going to be using my Country Chic paints, just Simplicity, just pure white. I use a ton of this pure white. It's called Simplicity, especially in the spring, because it's just, I don't know, I just like that really crisp, pretty white in the springtime. So let's open this up, and I'm just going to start off painting. Okay, just painting. You can paint the back if you want to. I'll leave that up to you. I'm going with this pretty white because I am going to be doing some napkin art on these, and so I want to make sure that, you know, my napkins really pop. Just going to do a really quick coat of white paint on here. Okay. Yeah, the Christmas canvas was gorgeous, wasn't it, Teresa? It's one of my favorite things, and I pretty much, like, I considered it just a huge heirloom piece. I really did, an heirloom piece. I think I got 3 made last year, but I have the stuff to make 2 more. I have 5 children, and I wanted to, no, maybe I made 4 and I need 2 more to go. I can't remember, but I wanted to make 1 for me and 1 for each of them to have for their families, right? To put out every Christmas, kind of as that reminder of, you know, the true meaning of Christmas. But I love that piece, and definitely to me, it was like one of those heirloom type pieces, a keepsake, right? That you'll have forever and ever and ever. And hopefully, you know, people in your family will save it for generations to come. All right. So just putting on our pretty little white here. It's okay if paint gets down in these I'm going to call it the shiplap valley. These little shiplap valleys. Just take your brush. We're going to kind of clean. We don't want it to be too full of paint. And we're just going to kind of clean that up. Sometimes I'll even take like a toothpick, which I have some here. And let me show you what I'll do. I'll take a toothpick and I just kind of clean the paint out of the valley. Just take that toothpick and just run it along those little shiplap valleys. And that way you just see more of that division. Right? Super easy, super cute, easy. You can see that the edges are kind of dark. So if you want to just, whatever paint is left on your brush, if you just want to dry brush, you know, the edges, you can. If you want to paint the back, you can. I'm not going to paint the back for today. I'm just going to focus on the top, but more than likely I will paint the back, or, you know, especially if I'm going to gift it to someone, I want it to look pretty and finished all over. So just kind of like a dry brush, right? Doesn't have to be covered everywhere. Kind of like that dry brush kind of look. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with my beautiful, cute little bunny here. So cute. Get some white on this beautiful bunny. And we're going to have some fun with this today. I'm also going to teach you, y'all, how to create a creative hanger for these if you wanted them to hang. So like if you were going to give it, you know, that you wanted to gift it to someone, you know, it's something that, you know, if you wanted it to hang off of a gift bag, or just made where it can kind of hang on the wall with another grouping of something or another. I'm going to show you how to make a fun hanger for these and during our craft and chat time here. So again, just going to make this bunny look pretty and white. One coat of paint is plenty enough. Kind of clean my brush on the edges. Just get that little kind of dry brush kind of look. And then I'm going to take my heat tool to it and dry it, make sure it's really good and dry. And then we're going to start having some fun. Okay. Going to go back to my, whoop, I need to probably do this with these sitting down. I'm going to take my toothpick again, or whatever you have. You have some, I'm sure you have some little tool of some kind. And I'm cleaning out these little shiplap valleys. I like these little valleys to really show up. Okay, that's all the paint. That's all I'm going to paint. That's it. Thank you, Annette. I'm glad you like the Risen Faith bundle. It's going to be really a lot of fun for us to create with. And now I'm just drying my paint. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, I'm going to start with the cross, okay? I'm going to start with the little mini cross here. I think it's so cute. Hi, Amy. My friend Amy here is watching. Thank you for saying that, Amy. You're so awesome. Amy and I, she is like a, oh my gosh, what can I say about Amy? She is amazing, and she has a love of fabric like I do. So I hope we can collaborate sometime and have some fun with fabric. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier that I'm always trying to pick up just old hymnals, any kind of old music paper, things like that. I love it. And sometimes, y'all, I'll use it as a place to practice, like for my Bible journaling and stuff. Like if I'm not sure how, like this galaxy, like if I'm not sure how this galaxy is going to look in my Bible, sometimes I go practice in this hymnal. And then it takes kind of the pressure off, and I can be like, okay, yeah, like I was practicing different colors, to put together. So sometimes you'll see, this was string art. I practiced string art in here, like just fun things. But I love to use the actual music paper too. And so I was thinking this cross would look amazing with some music paper on it, right? So I'm just gonna, I'm not even gonna worry too much about which hymn to use, any of that. I'm just gonna pick out a sheet. Okay, I'm gonna pick out a sheet. And I'm going to use some of this music paper as like a background. Okay, I want you to think of it like a background. And don't be surprised if you see me use a little music on my big cross too. I like music paper, especially that it's coming from a hymnal. I think that's kind of neat. Hymnals are going away. Very few, or at least around here, very few churches really even use hymnals anymore. Because they're putting all the music, like the words up on the screen, right, for people to sing along. And so don't be surprised if your church doesn't have, if you are going to church, if your church doesn't have down in wherever their music room is, just boxes of hymnals just stacking up, collecting dust. And so go just ask, say, hey, do y'all have any of the old hymnals that they used to have here? A lot of times they'll just give them to you. Okay, they'll just give them to you. I find them sometimes at half price books. I find them at yard sales. I find them in booths at like resale shops and things like that. And I don't think I've ever paid more than $5 for one. So they're very, very inexpensive, and it's fun to actually, have the hymnal sheet. Okay. All right. It could be any kind of music paper though too. So, and you can print just about any kind of music, any song you want for free right there on your computer. Just do a search. So I'm going to take this, and the first thing I'm going to do, I kind of like, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to cut it kind of close to the notes here. And I want you to watch what I'm going to do. I'm kind of, basically, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, one little, stanza. Do I want to just kind of put the whole thing on here? Do I want to put some in some places, some not in some places? Do I want this little part to go right along here? I don't know. I think for me, my focus is mainly going to just be on the music, right? The music. So I'm going to cut these out in like, what do you call this? A stanza? Is that what you call it? Library has a sale room and he found them there. That's a great suggestion, Patricia. Thank you. That is a great suggestion. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of take these pieces, right? I'm going to cut them. I might come back in and use, some words, but for right now, I'm just going to cut them down kind of small. And this is just because we're working with a smaller project, right? And they're going to wind up getting cut even more here in a minute, but I just want to kind of get them down to a little bit smaller strips to start. Okay, so let me put all this over here to the side, and I'm going to decide kind of where I want these strips to go, right? And then I'll just kind of start layering them down. Now, I still really love these shiplap valleys. I don't want to cover them up. I love them. I think they're beautiful, all of the things. So when these go on, you're going to see, well, I'm not going to give it away. I have a technique for this. Okay. Oh, okay. So here we go. Let me get some. Oh, I forgot. This one's almost gone. Okay. Get some Mod Podge out here. And I've got my brush ready to go. So I'm just going to put on what I consider just a nice kind of healthy coat of Mod Podge here. Now these little slats are very small, so when I do something like this on my bigger piece, and you know what? Let's move this kind of here because we might be able to use these other strips here in the moment. So I'm just going to kind of, they're just kind of butted up right next to each other. Let's keep going. Whereas like on the big cross, I might do like a whole section that's nothing but music and then another section somewhere else. So just kind of right up next to each other. And this one, I'm going to slide this one down a little bit so I don't have to. There we go. Okay, that is good. Now, what I'm going to do next. Oh, I'm a little crooked, aren't I? Well, maybe I think the crookedness is my cutting. I'm going to use my plastic sheet. Okay, I'm going to lay my plastic sheet down just like if this was a napkin. And I'm just going to kind of press down. Just press down. And you're going to be able to kind of feel where those valleys are. You're going to be able to feel where that little shiplap valley is. So I'm taking my thumbnail And I'm taking my thumbnail kind of right through that, where that little line is. I'll go up here. There's this one. And this one goes all the way. If you don't want to use your fingernail, you can go back and use that. Let me go up to this one right quick first. So I'll do this one first. You could use that toothpick again, right? So if you want to use your toothpick, what I'm trying to do here is I want to make sure that this paper gets down in that valley. Thumbnail, toothpick, whatever, however and whatever you want to use. And it'll be kind of hard for y'all to see at this point. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Nope. It's going to be really hard for you to see at this point where those are. But I promise you, I have gone in and taken my fingernail or my toothpick, right, along those valleys. One of those things, you'll be able to see it, but you just can't see it on camera. Or you can't see it well. Okay, and I think I got all of them. There's this one right here. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry this. And then we're going to sand off all the edges. Yeah, a stylus tool would be perfect, Sharon. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, a stylus tool, a toothpick, anything that has kind of a point, your fingernail, whatever you have to use. So I'm going to make sure this is really good and dry, and then I'm going to start sanding off the edges. All right, so paper is a little thicker than a napkin. Actually, hymnal paper is still pretty thin and pretty easy to sand. So we're just going to take off all this excess. And we're going to napkinize on top of this music paper, and it's going to be so pretty. So what we're doing is going to be kind of almost like a little teaser of some of the techniques, not all, but some of the techniques that I kind of want to do on our big layered cross, which that workshop's going to happen here on Sunday. So you could use a foam sanding block. You could use a sanding file, just using a piece of sandpaper here, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Look how pretty. I'm loving it already. Take these over to the side. I'll probably hang on to those in case I decide to use any of the scrap. And then I want us to play with our napkin art. Okay. So, you know, we have the little lamb. If you wanted to put the lamb on here, we could cut around this cross if we wanted this cross in the center here. We have almost too many options. That's kind of where it gets a little tricky. If you want to just do flowers in the center, you could, right? I'm kind of leaning towards this cross right here because I mentioned that earlier. And I just want you to see kind of what I'm talking about here. And I'm going to be really careful and kind of go into this because I love this greenery. I love this greenery. Along the edges. So I'm going to be kind of careful how I cut into this. Okay. Any questions so far? You doing okay? You know, Marilyn, I don't have a sharing group, and I've been talking about that, and I've been thinking about that. I think I need to think about creating a sharing group so that y'all can, as we create together, y'all can have a place where you can share your the things that we make on a craft and chat, or some of these other workshops. So that is on my radar. I'm telling you, that's on my radar. I've been thinking about it for a while. So I want you to see that I'm doing what I call a loose fussy cut. Okay. So a loose fussy cut is where I'm not really cutting like right on the image itself. I'm kind of bubbling around it. And the cool thing about this cross is it's on a white background. And for those of you, if you don't know much about napkin art, if you have a white background from a napkin, it pretty much just disappears. And so you don't see it. So you don't have to be so, perfect with your cutting. Again, I'm just kind of bubbling around. And it's going to be super easy. You don't have to be like really good at cutting, I guess is what I'm trying to say, especially with a white background. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, the other thing I didn't mention, but I didn't take the plies off yet. I like to go ahead and just cut them while they're together, and then it's so much easier to separate them after. And I do what's called the lick and stick method. I just use my finger and my thumb and tap on my tongue. It's going to feel a little wet, and then it feels a little sticky. And then just press your fingers together. Uh-oh, we lost connection on that device. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. That's fine. Okay, let's get rid of that. But do you see? And then we're going to pull it apart. This particular napkin is just a 2-ply. So I only have to take off 1 ply. All right, here we go. You ready? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put down a little bit of Mod Podge here. And I'm going to overlay this cross, the napkin cross, onto the wood cross. Anything that hangs over, I'll wind up just sanding away. I'm going to use my little plastic sheet here, or if you wanted to, you could use a chip brush to pounce if you don't want to use a plastic sheet. The plastic sheets I use are deli bakery wraps, deli bakery sheets. I get them on Amazon, but you can use whatever plastic wrap is in your kitchen. Okay. Now, do you see how that little line, again, see my cross goes over this little valley? You can see it better. Do you see the valley? That's the shiplap valley. So I'm going to go back over the shiplap valley anywhere on my cross that it goes over here. And right here. And I think that's it. I don't think that one quite hits. Okay, so make sure we go back over those little areas. All right. And now we're going to be really careful. We're going to peel this away. And we're going to dry it. Hey, Stephanie. Hello. Thank you, Diane. Diane's going to be my helper today. I forgot Cheryl had a doctor's appointment. So, yes, thank you, Diane. Diane's posting the link to the Risen faith-based specialty napkin bundle. That's where all these napkins that I'm showing you, and napkins I'm using. If you came on late, I did a reveal of all the napkins in this bundle, so you can always go back and watch the replay after we get done crafting. So let's take this part off. Just those little tips. I think that's really it. And I might need a little, see that one's lifting just a little bit. I need a little more, just a tiny little bit of Mod Podge underneath there. Okay. right? Turning out kind of cute. So if we wanted to do any kind of flowers, if we want to do dimensional flowers inside, if we wanted to add more napkin art in the center, I kind of want to do something dimensional on the inside of mine. I'm going to actually let this just kind of go to the side here and dry a little bit. And I'm going to work on our little bunny here. I think the bunny is super sweet. And I just wanted to show you how pretty a bunny doesn't have to just be the Easter bunny, right? Like a bunny can have a pretty little saying on it, right? So if you wanted to use a scripture napkin on your bunny, you could. If you just want to decorate your bunny with flowers and whatnot, right? You can. Let me get to my, I'm sorry, I'm digging through the pile of the flowers here. If I just wanted to use some of these pretty daffodils on my bunny, I could, right? I could do that. If I wanted to have it look like it's kind of sitting in some flowers like this, I could do this too. And in fact, this is kind of intriguing to me. I kind of like this. Let's do this. Now, remember, I've got a lot to play with here. So even though I might chop into one of these napkins, I still have 3 more panels, right? I still have 3 more panels, sorry, panels to play with. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So I could kind of, and I can kind of see the bunny. I can kind of see where it's at. I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to show you a little trick. Hopefully I have one. Oh man, I don't have one in here. Okay, I'm going to have to text. So interesting. Okay, I'm going to text one of my team members to bring me a friction pin in here. Let's see who on my team out there will look at their phone first. They're right on the other side of the door, but okay. Bring me a friction pin. Okay, I sent it to Susan. I have a feeling she might look at hers first. We'll see. Okay, so a friction pin is a pin that disappears with heat. And it's great. It's great. Thank you. Come here. Come over here. You know, come here. We don't care about your hair. Come here. Y'all, this is Susan. We want to say hi to Susan. Hi. She handles all of our customer service and stuff here on the store side, and she's awesome.
Okay.
Thank
there
you.
Go.
So this is a friction pin, and it's great. Oh, I took the thing off. It's great because it disappears with heat, right? So what I can do is I can kind of looking at my bunny and trying to decide, like, you know, what do I want to see? Instead of trying to like collage it all up, I could just kind of lay it in place, kind of where I want it to be, right? I'm going to go about like that, I think. And then I'm going to use my friction pen and I'm going to trace. So I'll have to put it all over the whole entire bunny. Just going to put it like it's kind of sitting in these pretty flowers, in the wildflowers. Okay. There are lots. We have different shapes of these too, y'all. Definitely you can check those out. Let me see if I still have that link saved here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I'm sharing the link to our shiplap stuff. So that's where you'll find the crosses, and that's where you'll find other shapes of these little shiplap wood pieces. I think they're just so cute and adorable. So you can see where my pin line is. And now I'm going to cut it out on the pin line. But here's the thing. If I'm not great at cutting on the pin line, I don't have to worry about it, because the second I zap this thing with my heat tool, the ink is going to disappear. It evaporates with heat. It's going to disappear. All right. Look how cute is that? That's precious, right? So up here, one thing I don't like is I don't like real straight lines like that. So I'm just going to kind of, again, just loosely, just kind of this loose fussy cut. And I'm just going to go around over this part right here. Now we're going to separate the napkin. Oh, you've never used friction pins. I'm telling you, Teresa, I use them in every crafting thing that I do. I use them for templates. I use them to mark little registration marks. I just love it because I can see it. It's black ink, but it disappears, right? Like it's not going to be hanging around forever. I'm going to use my lick and stick method, y'all. This particular napkin has 3 plies. So that means I have to take off two plies to get to the beautiful napkin art here. And let's go ahead and put this on. So my little bunny is going to look like it's just sitting in the wildflowers. I love it. Be so cute. You can use it on fabric, paper. I use it in my paper crafting. I use it on fabric for drawing out my templates on fabric or felt. It's fabulous. And then we're going to do our best to kind of just line this up on our sweet little bunny here. So cute. And I told you I'm going to show you how we're going to make a fun little hanger for it. Again, you can use the plastic wrap, or if you have a chip brush, which I don't seem to have right here on my table to show you. So I'm going to lay down my plastic wrap and I'm going to start smoothing. So here's another cool thing about the friction pin. Even if you've had a coat of Mod Podge on top of the friction pin, it still disappears with heat, which is pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to press all this down. Same thing. I'm going to take my fingernail through that shiplap valley or my toothpick. Take whatever you want, whatever kind of tool, whatever you want. Want to see that. And we're going to carefully peel this back because Mod Podge kind of will ooze through the napkin. Adorable. And then I'm thinking we need a little flower maybe up here on the ear. Don't y'all think? Oh, look, there's a little butterfly. I didn't even realize there was a butterfly on this. Huh. Well, how cute is that? Okay, we're going to have a little butterfly. And let's see, what do we want to put on the ear? It doesn't have to be too much. Could be some of these pinky flowers. I'm just going to cut a little bit and we're going to see. What do we want to do here? Take off the ply. Do y'all like it on the curved? The floppy ear the best? I'm trying to decide what I like. And then our little teeny tiny butterfly. Or it could be over here on this ear. I don't know why, but I kind of like it on the floppy ear. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to think too long because I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time today. All right, so let's just put this over here. And let's put our little butterfly like it's kind of on the flower. That's super sweet. You could do more if you want to do more. Let's just kind of look at it and see what it looks like. And I'm going to sand it down. So you always want to dry your napkin before we sand it. And I can see I had a few little pin lines here and they've already disappeared. Love that. just have a little bit of overhang in places down here. How sweet. Isn't that just the sweetest? I think it's so cute. Yeah, they'll disappear. It's the heat that makes it disappear. So even if your Mod Podge was on top of it, it will make it disappear. So that's pretty fun. All right. I'm going to just keep on going here. So the next thing I need to do is I'm going to decide, I think I'm going to let this one kind of dry on its own. What else do I want to put on this one? And I'm going to go back to this pretty, this stuff, right? Because if you want to make your napkin look if you want to make your cross look Eastery, you most definitely can. If you want to make it look like something somebody would want to have out, could have out like for forever, however long. Maybe you want to write a verse on the back of it to uplift or encourage somebody. These would be great just to have them made up and use them whenever you think you need to. I told y'all I think I'm going to do something dimensional on mine. So let's just add a little bit more napkin art. You could go floral. There's so many different things that you could do. And I'm going to just kind of bring it kind of off the edge here. Just a little bit. Grab my pounce brush just so y'all can see what that looks like. This is a pound. This is when I say pounce brush, this is what I'm talking about. It's a chip brush, just a natural bristle brush. You don't put it in anything, but it's nice sometimes if you just want to come in and kind of pounce your napkin down in place. And you can totally use this and not use the plastic wrap. You get a little more texture when you use this. When you use the plastic wrap, it's smoother. Okay, so it just kind of depends on what you want. And let's see, what else do we have here? I'm going to keep kind of cutting around this little edge. Just kind of cut a little section of this off. Okay. Thank you, Diane. All right. So do I want to have a little bit of this greenery kind of coming down from the cross? That's really pretty. I could do that. I think I need to have a little bit of something up here at the top. So I'm going to pull out a little bit of this greenery. And remember, this one's only a 2-ply, so I only have to take off that ply. So I could have maybe a little bit kind of coming off. Oh, that looks good right there. Okay. Just kind of playing with the greenery because it can go any which direction. And I'm going to cut out a little bit of this extra white. Okay, here we go. Here. Let's put a little bit up here. Tell me what you're thinking so far. I'm going to keep this one more basic, kind of neutral. It can be, like I said, if you want to make it very Eastery and use Eastery colors, then most definitely you can, right? You can use whatever you want, kind of like that. I'm just going to do a little bit on these edges right here. Are there 4 crosses on this napkin? There are. Yes, there are. It's a luncheon size napkin. So it gives us lots of this little greenery, which is fabulous. And yes, you have 4 crosses. Come on. It's getting a little harder because my fingers have gotten a little sticky from the Mod Podge. But I will win. I always win. when it comes to separating the napkin. I might have to pull out a little pin or something, but I'm going to try my best. Don't worry about this. All this Mod Podge will dry clear. So let's bring maybe a few little leafy stuff kind of coming off the edge here. Very kind of subtle, pretty. And a little bit right over here. Trying to decide which, maybe this one right here. They don't all have to look exactly the same, meaning the greenery doesn't have to always look exactly the same. Except for that's not quite big enough. I think I need a little more, maybe more like this. So while I'm working on this, y'all, answer me in the comments, who is going to come watch the Creative Cross workshop where I'm doing the big cross and layered with the medium cross. I can show you pictures of it. I mean, not pictures. I have the sample crosses right back here. Who is going to come join me for that? 6 o'clock. I would say to plan, it's a fairly big project, so I would say to plan maybe 6 to 8. Possibly 8:30, but if I can be really decisive, I am going to be creating live, right? So I would say to block out maybe like 6 to 8. Did I already take that back off that? Oh, yeah, I think I did. We'll have a great time together. Who's going to watch? Yay, good. I see a lot of you. That's awesome. If you can't watch at that time, just keep in mind you can always watch the replay, okay? The replay will be saved. If you are one of my Napkin Club members or Faith Journaling members, it'll be saved for you in our private group. And then if you're not one of those members, I'm going to save it in my video section here on my page, Miss Tracy Creates. So that's a good reason to follow. Make sure that you're following the page because it'll make it easier for you to get back to. I'm just going to add another little bit of leafy, little bit of leafy stuff going on right here. And then we're going to dry it. And yeah, okay. We're going to dry it. We're going to sand it off. And I want y'all to do this too. I'm going to actually put just a really light, thin coat over everything. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. That way I can just dry the whole thing before I sand it. We need to protect our napkins. It is important. Sometimes we forget that or even me, I forget that I'm dealing with a napkin and I'm like, okay, it's a little tiny sheer tissue and I need to protect it. So to seal it, to protect it, just using a really thin coat of Mod Podge. Let's go ahead and do that on this one too, even though I was kind of thinking about adding something else on my bunny. But for now, I will go ahead and at least put a top coat over the stuff that I've already, done here so far. Oops, I'm grabbing a little excess piece there. Okay. All right, so let's dry those. And I hope that I haven't missed any comments or questions. Fabric Club members, you'll be watching it right here. Because it's faith-based, we're going to save it in the Faith Journaling group. Because it's napkin-based, we're saving it in the Napkin Club group. So it just seemed like to make sense to be there. Everybody else, you have it. It'll be saved right here in my video section. Okay. When you go to the home page of Miss Tracy Creates, you'll see right at the top, you're going to see some featured videos. And then there's a little place where it says see all videos. And that's kind of our video section. So we'll make sure and save it in there for you guys so y'all can watch it. as many times as you want or need or wish. Okay? How do you join the Napkin Club? Well, that's a great segue. We're not selling these as kits, Vonda. We're just selling the surfaces. So if you buy the napkin bundle, and then if you want to purchase the surfaces, we're just leaving that up to you. So we're not really selling these as a kit. Okay. So Brenda asked how to join the Napkin Club. That's a really good question because right now the Napkin Club doors are open. And here's what that means. Okay, here's what that means. That means you get to bypass the wait list. This is the month you get to bypass the wait list. We're going to continue to take new signups until we are out of, till we get to our threshold number of bundles. Okay. Then after this month, after March, we go back to operating on our wait list. And that means if any spots open up, we go to our wait list first to try to fill them. We won't have actual open doors that bypass the wait list again until August. Okay, we won't have that again until August. So if you're considering joining the Napkin Club, right now is the best time to do it. Right now is the best time to do it. Next week, I'm going to be doing the reveal of the April bundle, and it's gorgeous and beautiful. It's called Nature Trail. I think you're going to like it. Some really, really unique napkins in it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's go ahead and sand off our excess napkin. Y'all, it's funny. I'm going to tell you something. Okay. So right now we're in my studio at the shop, right? And so when I'm looking this way, I'm looking out, I have these one full whole wall of windows, right? They have blinds on them, but I always have the blinds open because I love light, natural light. And so I can see, because it's our local pickup day, so I can see people coming in and out. And every so often you can see they're trying to kind of peek in the window. And we have this film on our window so I can see out, but they can't really see in. And it cracks me up. It cracks me up because I can always see people trying to peek in, trying to see in, and I don't think they realize I can see them. So it tickles me especially Fridays. It tickles me because that's when our locals can come pick up their web orders. Look how pretty this is. This was easy. It's so pretty. You can still see our little shiplappy valleys here. They will show up so much more to you when the piece is right, smack in front of you. Okay. So it's just hard sometimes to see online very well. I'm going to do one more thing to this one, and then I'm going to embellish the inside because we're going to do the hanger. Remember, I told you I was going to make a hanger for it. So if you, for some reason, want these shiplap areas to stand out a little bit more, there's a couple things you can do. What we're going to be doing on the big cross is I'm going to be using a product that's like a liquid antiquing wax. So I'm going to share with you this technique. You'll see it Sunday night. If it's something small like this, sometimes I'll just take my fine tip journaling pen. I like to use Pitt Pens. Okay. And this one is the extra small. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to drag it through this shiplap valley. It's just again to create a little bit more contrast to the eye so that it shows up better. It is completely optional. You don't have to do it. I just kind of like, I got a little bit of, it's a little bit gooey right there. Let me clean this off real quick. Got to make sure that your Mod Podge is completely good and dry, or make sure to clean off the nib of your pen if you need to. Okay. So it's just kind of a, do you see, it's not to anybody else, it's not going to look like pen work, right? It just makes those valleys a little darker, especially when it's a small project. Instead of trying to, antique it and all the things, it's just so fast sometimes to just come and draw in those lines. And then to whoever's looking at it, it just kind of looks like a deeper shiplap valley. It's just an illusion. Okay. It's kind of an illusion. This one, I don't really feel like I need to do it to, right? I mean, it's showing up. It's pretty and white, all the things. Okay, so I am going to do, though, a little bit more pen work. And this is something that, again, it's optional. If you wanted to, I'm going to bring my camera down a little bit. If you wanted to just kind of accentuate the cross a little bit more, we could come in here and just do a little bit of pen work. Every time you come to that shiplap valley, just skip over it. There's another shiplap valley right there that I missed. Okay, so let me put that in there. So if you come to the shiplap valley, we're just going to skip it. And I'm just kind of tracing this. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just kind of gives our inner cross here a little more pizzazz, I guess you could say. If you want to do any pen work on your greenery, your leaves, you could. I'm going to leave my leaves alone. I really just want it to be here on the cross. Skip, skip, skip. And now, isn't that beautiful? Right? Isn't it pretty? Now, there's one more thing I'm going to do to my cross before I put the stuff on the inside, because I want to have something kind of in the center of this cross. I'm going to use my Stickles. So if you wanted to keep this really full-on natural look, I would just say to leave it just like this. If you want it to have a little extra charm, a little extra highlight, right? We can come in here and we can stickle it. And this is kind of, just something that everybody's going to feel a little bit different about. I'm going to stickle mine as kind of an act of celebration, right? What the cross means for me and my faith. And that it doesn't end on the cross, right? Sunday's coming. So just adding this little bit, and again, this is completely optional. And then it'll just take a little bit of time to dry, but I think that isn't that pretty? Do you see how it just, every little layer just kind of steps up, and I'm just going to kind of help you see it in the light. Isn't that gorgeous? Yes, it's so pretty. Same thing with your bunny over here. If you wanted to do I'm not going to do any pen work on this just to save some time. But if I did want to, add a little bit of sparkle, it doesn't even have to be everywhere. Like I can just do little lines kind of going into this flower, right? So it's up to you. You want it to have more of a natural look. It can have more of a natural look. It's just up to you what you like. And here's the cool thing about this Stickles. If you put it on and you're like, I don't like it, it's too much, all you have to do is get a baby wipe and wipe it back off. As long as it's wet, you can wipe it off. Okay? It's harder to take off once it's dry. But if you did decide like, I'm just not feeling this, I'm not crazy about this, then absolutely take your baby wipe and wipe it off. You can wipe it away. And let's put a little sparkle on our butterfly here. Okay, so it's really just personal preference, right? Personal preference, whatever you want to do. And now we're going to dry this. Actually, let's work on I'm going to dry it just a little bit, but we're going to work on the handle real quick. Okay, are y'all still with me? If you have to sign off, it's fine. I know this is a little longer craft and chat than we normally have, but because I shared all of the Risen napkins, the Risen bundle napkins. Okay, I see an angry face. Somebody's probably angry at me for something. Okay, yeah, Stickles. It's called Stickles. We sell it here in the shop, but it's pretty much all craft stores carry it. And my personal favorites are the ones that are clear. This one's crystal. There's diamond, because they take on whatever color you put them on top of. So I don't usually buy colored Stickles. I just use the clear. Okay. Yes, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. Okay, so we're going to leave this for just a second, and we're going to talk about creating a hanger. Obviously, this is really pretty. It's cute just like this. Last week, I showed you the clothespin hack. So if you wanted your cross to stand, you could actually do the clothespin hack back here if you wanted to. I think I still have that. Yes, I do. I still have a clothespin right here. And just in case you missed that, the clothespin hack is just a regular clothespin, and you slide it. Okay, you slide it. Do you see how I just slid it into, and then I can slide it back. But if you want to, you can slide them into position, and it makes a little easel. And then you glue it on the back, right? And now you have a little stand for your piece. So if you wanted to do one of these small ones and put it on a tiered tray, or just have it sitting somewhere, where you can see it all the time, this is a really fun little hack with the clothespin. And then when you get ready to store it, or if you're putting it away or whatever, you can just pop the clothespin right back down and it will store flat. Okay, so that's one idea, and I love this idea. I share it a lot because I love it. So the other thing I thought would be, gosh, this would be so cute with a hanger. Okay, with a hanger. So I'm going to show y'all how I like to make my beaded hangers. And I'm going to be using these little bitty white beads. I'm going to show you. They're coming out of this jar because, look, there are black and white, yellow, green, different colors. But because I'm staying a little bit more neutral on this one, I'm just going to use my white ones. And you know what? Somebody's going to ask me what size these are. I usually get them on Amazon. And then I just keep a little mixture of bold together. But look, like this green, how cute would that be over here for the bunny, maybe? Even the black and white would actually be really cute for this one, right? So I think you could, again, the whole black and white thing, very farmhousey. If you wanted to use the black and white check, you could. They're already done and painted. You don't have to try to hold them and paint them and all the things. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with the natural here. So I have some beads here, and of course I have more in my little tart tin. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some wire. Okay, this wire is 20 gauge. Okay, so I can manipulate it. I can cut it easily. I like, if I'm doing any kind of a hanger with the beads, I like for it to be wired, because then it stays where I want it to stay instead of, flopping like if I just put jute or something in there. So I'm going to come in here, and you're going to make the hanger just, a little, you want it to actually be longer than what you really need. And you'll see, do you see? Just going to have this cute little hanger. Again, could be cute. Let's look at it. Let's just look at it with maybe every other one. See what it looks like with the black and white check. I don't know if I want to do that or not. They come in every kind of color of check, red and white, just look for checked wood beads. They come in all the different colors. So that's cute too. I think I'm going to stick with the white. I want this to be the star of the show. So I'm going to stick with the white. So all I'm doing right now is just threading the beads on. And you're going to just put on as many, depends on how big, you want your hanger to be. So I need more. Okay, we're getting really close now. So maybe 3 more and see what that does to it. Whoops. Somebody's probably going to ask me the size. How can you not have any wood beads? It could be a ribbon hanger. It doesn't have to be a beaded hanger. I just want to show y'all how I make my beaded hangers. I like to put them on wire. I like to have them on wire. So now look, you see, this is pretty good size hanger right here. I think that's looking pretty good. So I'm thinking this is going to be a good spot for us right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is y'all, let me see if I can do this without spilling these. This is why you want to make it longer than what you really need. Okay. I'm just going to kind of turn these because I don't want it to accidentally come off. Okay. So do you see, I just kind of turn the wire in. I don't want it to accidentally fall off. And before I can move further, I have to dry this. So I probably should not have stickled it. But let me get it dry enough to where I can turn it over. Now, this particular wood with the shiplap it's about an 1/8 inch or so thick. It's not going to be something that you can easily punch a hole through. So we're going to be attaching this to the back. And I'm going to show you how. Okay. Yeah, it's still just a little bit wet, but I think it'll be okay. And of course, I haven't painted the back. I haven't done anything to the back yet. I would probably suggest doing whatever you're going to do to the back. If you're just going to paint it, it'd be so pretty to paint it. And maybe you stamp a word on it, or maybe you write out a verse on it if you're going to do it as a gift or something, something like that. Actually, you have other napkins in your faith bundle you could put on it if you wanted to. And so I'm going to work with just one side at a time. So fold this up, right? Fold it up so that way your beads don't go trying to roll off on you. Okay. And now I'm going to have my little spot right here. So watch what I'm going to do. Remember the toothpick? Remember the toothpick. I'm going to grab my toothpick over here. A toothpick, gosh, what else? The end of a paintbrush. End of a paintbrush might even be better because then it's not gonna, it'll be a little thicker. Okay, so do you see how I just kind of, it looks like a little piggy tail, just kind of like a little corkscrew. And then you can smash that corkscrew together. Okay, you want to smash it together. If it's hard on your hands, you can use like a, pliers or something. You can hammer it down, whatever you need to do to make it a little bit easier. I have my little hammer in here. So I'm going to just kind of, so you kind of curled it around something and now we're just smashing it down. Now this little piece right here, you can just trim that away. Use your craft scissors, right? And I've trimmed that away. So that's going to end one spot. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing to this one. Let me do this one with the end of a small paintbrush. Let me grab one real quick, because this might be easier. Again, it's going to be on the back, so it's not going to matter. Okay. So just take this wire and we're going to twist it around, right? Kind of gives us that little corkscrew kind of effect right there. And then I like to smash the corkscrew down. Just smash it with your fingers. If it's hard to do with your fingers, sit it down, pop it with a hammer. Maybe you have some pliers, you know, something. And then this little edge right here, that little pokey part, I'm cutting it away because I have a tendency to kind of fly. And we're going to cut that part off. Okay, so I think it's actually probably easier to do with the paintbrush, maybe a little bit easier to do. And again, the whole reason I'm doing this is because I cannot punch a hole through this cross. If you had a drill, you probably could. If you are, you know, inclined to want to use a drill, you could. All right, so can everybody see that part okay? So you're going to have these little, just these little curlicue looking things on the end, and it's going to be on the back, so I don't want you worrying too much about this. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my glue gun. And before we actually attach this, I'm going to come back around and dry this just a little bit more. Could the bunny have a hanger? Maybe. You could have a hanger off the ears. Or you might want something more delicate. You might just want to do the clothespin hack, right? Or put magnets behind her. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. But to me, if I was going to do anything to the bunny, it might just be a cute piece of something around the neck, right? A cute little piece of twine, a cute little piece of ribbon. Maybe add in a few dimensional flowers if you want to. All the things. Okay, so we're going to finish the cross. And we are almost done with this cross. It's going to be perfect. So one of the things I want to think about is, what do I want in the center of my cross? I could do something as simple as just one flower. Just one flower. Like, to me, that's so pretty and beautiful, kind of that simple beauty of the cross. If you wanted to do multiple flowers, right? Like if you wanted to pull in some colors, maybe some pinks. I'm just looking over here in my stash of flowers. If you want to go bigger like that, to me, that's too big. It takes too much, right? If you wanted to do a cluster of like little paper roses and pull in a color, right? You could add a pretty little bit of Easter color to that. Or just colors that you love, right? So these, like if you kind of clustered them all together, that could be a really pretty way, right, to do your cross. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's springtime, so I think flowers, I'm just kind of lend myself to flowers right now. I think that looks really pretty. All right, we're going to turn this over. I think my glue gun's hot enough now. So this is going to be kind of interesting because even though we just made these little curlicues, that's not really where we're going to be gluing. Pull your curlicue thing right here will kind of pull to the back. And I'm actually gluing this bead to the edge of this part of the cross. All right, y'all are going to have to just watch. Just watch. Like I said, if you want to drill a hole, you can, but you can't really punch a hole like your crocodile or anything on this. It's just, it's not going to happen for you. I'll do this side. So, and I have to kind of do it laying down. I'm sorry. I push it down. So I'm just pushing the bead. I'm gluing the bead to the edge of the cross. Has nothing to do with the wire. If you want to put a little extra glue behind the wire, you can. That's up to you. It's a little too thin to use a staple, like my industrial stapler. Okay, so we've got that one down. And now the trick is on this one is making sure that it's kind of lined up with the one that we just did. So I'm just going to hold it in place for a second. I like the pink too. It just adds that pretty softness to it. Or you could do a lavender or a blue or whatever color you're in, you know, is your color. Now sometimes you get a little bit of a blob, a little, you know, if your glue kind of runs over here a little bit. Most of the time I can just kind of clean that up. I'll pop it with my heat gun and just kind of clean that up. Got one little blobby right there. When I pulled that, it took off everything. So now I got to do it again, which is okay. All right. We're almost done. Now, your little metal things are going to be at the back. So if you want to secure a little glue behind those two, you can. Okay. I haven't painted the back of mine or anything just yet, but I just want to show you, like, if you did want to add a little bit of glue or something back here, you totally could if you want to. Okay. Right. So here's what I love about this is my handle stays shaped. Okay, my handle stays pretty and shaped because it has the wire in it. Isn't that cute, y'all? I love it. And so when I get ready to embellish this, again, if I want to just do something super simple, right? Just pretty, simple, elegant, like that is so pretty. Or if I want to pull in just a little pop of color, right? If I want to pull in a little pop of color, I think clustering like 3 of these pretty little paper roses together. I'm just going to kind of show you here, right? Look how, like, that's so pretty too. Do y'all have a preference? Do you like the pink or the white? The pink or the white? It can be hard to decide sometimes. I think I'm going to do the pink because it is Easter, spring Easter. But if I was inclined to want to give this to somebody and I didn't really know like colors that they liked or anything, I would just keep the whole thing neutral. So I'm just going to take these flowers. They do have a little piece of metal on them. So let me trim that down a little bit. And I kind of like them bunched together, kind of like a triangle. And I'm just going to push them together here and just hold them for a second. Just a little cluster. The white looks very elegant. Yes. So you could do this any way you want. Maybe you even have like a pretty, a charm or a medallion or a pretty metal, you know, just a trinket or a treasure. You know what I'm talking about? That you could use. And that would be really cute too, right? In the center. It's just up to you. All right. Oh, darn. I just pulled that off again. I'll fix it. All right. So there is my pretty cross. Pretty. I need to straighten this out. Let me straighten this little booger out right quick. Usually don't have any problem at all. Here we go. Take out some of the extra glue. I think I might have them too close together. That might be part of it. So if they're trying to pop like that, maybe spread them out just a little bit. But here's my cross. Now just imagine, as pretty as this little small cross is, just imagine what in the world is going to happen Sunday night when I do the large layered cross. I am so excited about it. I cannot wait. Just want to show you how it looks hanging. Isn't it pretty, y'all? I think it's so pretty. And then, of course, that helps by moving it over. I think I just had them tried to pull them too close together. And then let's just do a little quick little fuss here on our bunny. Oops. So what do we want to do on our bunny? We could have lace around the bunny's neck. We could do a pink, maybe an aqua. just looking at the ribbons that I have here. Maybe even not anything super big. I'm going to use my twine. I love baker's twine. So let me unravel some baker's twine. I promise we're almost done. And then I'm just going to do just a really short recap right now because I've kept you on here for so long. Everybody gets access to the faith workshops. Okay. Everybody gets access to the faith workshops. Anybody can purchase the Risen Specialty Faith Napkin Bundle. There'll be another one in the fall. I'm only going to do 2 a year. Okay. Because honestly, there's just not enough of faith-based stuff out there. I'm working on that, but yeah. So I'm going to take a little bit of this twine around its neck here. I doubled it up. And I'm going to pull it over here. Just going to tie a cute little bow. So my first workshop, I'm going to do 4 workshops out of this napkin bundle. The He Is Risen Faith-Based Napkin Bundle. I think that's too much. I'm going to go with a single. The first one is going to be Sunday night. This Sunday night at 6 p.m. There'll be another one next Wednesday night. And then I'm going to have one in April and one in May because we have such a wide variety of napkins to play with. So we're going to be able to have more workshops. And again, those are going to be free to everyone. The napkin bundle itself is not free, however. So that you will need to order. And those will be available until we're out. We've already done our pre-orders to our groups. So what we have right now, whenever it's gone, it will just be gone. And then the other announcement I have for you is right now the Napkin Club doors are open. In March, we're allowing people to bypass the wait list. Nobody has to worry about the wait list. We're letting you bypass the wait list so that you can come join us in the Napkin Club. And if that's something that interests you, I'd love for you to come and join us. We come give it a try. We don't require a contract or cancellation fees. So if you come in, and even if you just want to try it out for a month, you just have to cancel before the 1st of the next month. We will be operating off of our wait list again until August. We won't open the doors like we are right now again until August. So I have got this cute little bow here. It's very simple and very cute. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue behind it so that I can get the bow to kind of lay the way that I want it to lay. And then I think that is just so cute. And again, that's kind of a big flower. I think I'm going to stick with the smaller flowers, but look, y'all, I have these cute little styrofoam eggs, right? These cute little styrofoam eggs. And the cool thing about these being styrofoam is I can cut them in half, which I love. Okay. Tracy, if you need to add something to your order, use this email, info@misstracycreates.com. If you have any questions or need any assistance of anything, any kind, info@misstracycreates.com. And then I'll make sure that Susan knows exactly what you're needing, what you're looking, I'll make sure that it gets to the right person to get taken care of. Okay. Yes. Okay. So our little egg here, I just want to show you. Pick whatever side you like the best for the front. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. I'm going to take my scissors. It's styrofoam, y'all, right? So I can just cut off, whoops. I can cut off the back to make it flat, right? I can just cut the back to make it flat. And then I can put a few little eggs down in here into the garden, right? Super, super cute. I think I'm going to do a blue one too. And they just cut super easy, really easy. Let's put one maybe like right here. So it's fun just to kind of come in, maybe add a few little dimensional things here and there. I could even put a green one in the bow or a yellow one in the bow. The yellow seems a little bit bright. Or we put a green one, another green one. I kind of like the green one actually. Let's put the green one up here. You can find these little eggs everywhere right now. Any of your craft stores, even the dollar store, everybody has them, and they're just super easy to create with. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here on my center of my bow. I'll hold this up close here in just a second. And smush, 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 just smush it down. But by being able to cut that back off just makes such a difference. Look how cute. That's precious, right? That is so precious. I think it's adorable. Now I'm kind of wishing I had done maybe a little more napkinizing on the ears. And here's the thing, I still can, right? I can still go back in. I can still add in a little bit more on the ears. If I want to add in a little bit of, little, I don't know, whatever, little greenery, little flowers again. Maybe we add a butterfly to this one. I think I have some butterflies in my thing here. I've got this one. This might be, do y'all think this one's too big? Okay. I promise I really am gonna, I'm not gonna craft with you all day, all the live long day. Oh my gosh. Right? Like you could put, maybe we put a little butterfly somewhere. I don't know. I'm not really sure. This might be a little too big. It could even be down here. It could have even been in the bow around the neck. I don't know. I think my butterfly is a little too big. I'm going to see if I can find a smaller one. Right? Isn't that just the sweetest? You know what else you could do? You could actually put an inside of the ear here. So if you had, a napkin that you liked kind of the color, you could actually come in and do a little inside of the ear. That would be really cute too. Or that could even be ribbon. Let's do some ribbon. I promise I'm going to stop after this. Okay. Okay. So if I want to put, I'm just going to cut the kind of this, a shape of an inside of an ear. I don't know exactly what that is. Let's see what that looks like. Oh goodness, that's cute. Okay. This is what we call live crafting, right? Sometimes I just don't know until I just start working. And I can tell you this right here. I'm going to use my extra small pen nib because do you see how, I'll put this down in just a second, but look at this one. I feel like I need a little bit of pen work coming up here just to help me with this little fold of the ear. And because I've done that, now I'm going to want to just do pen work everywhere because I love doing pen work. This is just my small pen. And sometimes I like to go back over my pen work so it's not so, it looks kind of artsy, kind of doodly. See, this is what happens though. One thing leads to another. And then another. Oh, so fun. I want to do it everywhere, but I think it just kind of helps with that fold over, that floppy ear. Okay, helps with the floppy ear. Do y'all like it? Because we're going to put something on this side too. So let me just kind of keep don't have to put it everywhere. Thank you guys. Yes, it's $15. Thank y'all for helping me out and answering questions. Yes, it's $15 for the Faith. This is kind of our spring version. I called it He Has Risen, but it's got lots of different types of napkins in it. Yeah, this is cute. See, this is the kind of crafting I like, when you're just pulling in all different kinds of things, right? I mean, who would have thought to use the ribbon as their little ear here? But it looks great, and it adds another texture. So on this one, we've got to we're going to use the friction pin. Because watch, like, I know this is going to be where that needs to go. This part of the ear. But we have the floppy ear, which is super adorable. So I'm going to use my friction pin to draw my line right here, so I know exactly where to cut this off. This you could Mod Podge in place if you wanted to. I think just for me, well, you know what? I think I am going to Mod Podge it in place. Yeah, you can Mod Podge fabric. You can Mod Podge ribbon. Except for I'm going to use this small brush. My brush has gotten kind of crusty. Okay, here we go. So just going to put some Mod Podge here. It's going to dry clear. I've already done my top coat, so it's going to dry clear. It'll be fine. And now we're going to put in this part of our ear. Goodness gracious, this is cute. I love both of these projects. And now let's Mod Podge this part in. I'm going to use my Pounce brush. That's exactly what it needed, y'all. Look at that ribbon. That's exactly what it needed. It just needed that little bit. And I love the little eggs on there. So cute. I think it's precious. If you want your eggs to sparkle, then you add the Stickles. If you want the pink inner part of the ear to sparkle, you add the Stickles. You can do whatever you want, right? That is just darling. And I know some of you may want to add like a bunny face. That's up to you. I'm going to leave mine alone. I was kind of thinking about possibly a little flower up here, just so I think these will be cute together when I take pictures. So now you know how I like to do hangers, right? So if you wanted to put a little flower in here in her ear, you could. You could even add some dimensional flowers down here, right? In the little garden, whatever. You can put them wherever, however you want. I'm going to leave mine. So there they are. Clean up all the mess. There they are. And I'm really, really happy with them. I think they're just really cute. Let's look at it close again. There's our little butterfly, our flowers, our beautiful napkin art, our little styrofoam eggs. Super cute. And then on our cross, the music paper, right? Using the hymnal paper. Being able to see some of those words coming through our napkins. So pretty. Use just the natural greenery on the edges. And then we double layered the cross. Add the pretty flowers in the center and our pretty hanger. Okay. You could even add a little touch of ribbon in there if you wanted to. I think everybody will have a lot of fun kind of creating and decorating these. It'll be really a lot of fun.